The mind is a powerful and complicated thing, shaped by many forces: our history, society, upbringing, and experiences. Most people live without questioning their thoughts, simply accepting what they have been told about life, morality, and truth. They follow traditions, believe in ideas passed down by previous generations, and live according to the expectations of others. This can make life easier in some ways, but it also makes people weak and dependent. When the mind does not question or challenge itself, it becomes trapped in patterns that are not truly its own. Many people suffer because they do not realize that their thoughts and beliefs are not entirely their own, but have been influenced by outside forces. They feel guilt, fear, or shame because they have been told that certain things are right or wrong, good or bad. But what if these ideas are not universal truths, but merely creations of society? What if people could take control of their own thinking and create their own values instead of accepting the ones given to them? This would require strength, courage, and a willingness to go against the crowd. The mind has the potential for freedom, but this freedom comes with responsibility. It is easy to let others decide what is right or wrong, but to truly think for oneself means carrying the burden of making one's own choices. This can be frightening because it means there is no one else to blame for mistakes. Many people avoid this responsibility and choose to remain in the safety of rules and traditions. But those who seek a deeper and more meaningful life must be willing to challenge their old beliefs, question everything they have been taught, and find their own path. This does not mean rejecting everything for the sake of rebellion, but rather testing every idea, keeping what is truly meaningful, and discarding what no longer serves personal growth. The mind that dares to do this becomes stronger, more independent, and more alive. Struggle is necessary for growth. Without resistance, the mind remains weak and undeveloped. Just like muscles grow through exercise and effort, the mind grows by facing difficulties and overcoming them. Many people try to avoid pain and discomfort, believing that happiness comes from an easy and comfortable life. But true strength and deep joy come from facing challenges head-on, from turning suffering into an opportunity for growth. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, they can be seen as chances to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When the mind embraces struggle rather than running from it, it transforms suffering into something meaningful. Pain is no longer just something to be avoided. It becomes a teacher. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to the freedom of the mind. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. These keep people trapped in small, limited lives. But fear only has power if it is obeyed. If a person dares to face their fears, they often find that the things they were afraid of were not as terrible as they seemed. Growth requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and learning from mistakes. A mind that is always afraid of making mistakes will never truly experience life. Instead of trying to be perfect or always making the right choices, a free mind understands that mistakes are part of the journey. Every failure is a lesson, and every mistake is an opportunity to grow. Another challenge the mind faces is the search for meaning. Many people look for meaning outside of themselves, in religion, in success, in other people's approval. But this creates dependence. When meaning comes from something external, it can be taken away. A job can be lost. A relationship can end. Beliefs can be questioned. If a person's sense of purpose is built on something outside of themselves, they will feel lost when that thing disappears. The strongest minds do not seek meaning. They create it. They do not wait for life to give them a purpose. They decide what their purpose will be. This is a radical idea because it means that nothing has inherent meaning except the meaning a person gives it. Instead of asking, "What is the meaning of life?" a free mind asks, "What meaning do I want to give to my life?" A person who understands this is no longer controlled by the opinions of others. Most people spend their lives worrying about what others think. They seek approval, try to fit in, and fear judgment. But this is another form of slavery. A free mind does not need validation from anyone. It does not seek to be accepted or admired. It creates its own path and follows it without concern for whether others agree or not. This does not mean being arrogant or ignoring other people completely, but it does mean that one's sense of self-worth does not come from external approval. True confidence comes from within, from knowing that one is living according to one's own values rather than the expectations of others. Many people struggle with feelings of guilt and regret. They look back at past mistakes and feel trapped by them. But the mind that is free understands that the past cannot be changed, and dwelling on it is pointless. Instead of wasting time on regret, it focuses on learning from the past and moving forward. Every mistake carries a lesson, and every failure is an opportunity for growth. Holding on to guilt only weakens the mind, making it afraid to take risks. A person who is constantly haunted by the past is unable to fully live in the present. Letting go of guilt does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means accepting what has happened, learning from it, and choosing to move forward with strength. Another challenge the mind faces is the desire for control. Many people want to control everything in their lives, believing that if they can just plan everything perfectly, they will avoid suffering. But life is unpredictable. No matter how much a person tries to control things, unexpected events will always happen. A free mind understands this and does not waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead of resisting change, it learns to adapt. When things do not go as planned, instead of feeling frustrated, the mind looks for new opportunities. This flexibility is what makes a person truly strong. Rigidity leads to suffering, while adaptability leads to growth. The mind also struggles with self-doubt. Many people do not believe in themselves, constantly questioning their abilities and worth. But this doubt often comes from comparing oneself to others. A free mind does not waste time on comparison. It focuses on its own journey, understanding that each person's path is different. Success is not measured by how well one does compared to others, but by how much one grows as an individual. When a person stops comparing themselves to others and starts focusing on their own progress, they develop true confidence. A powerful mind is one that embraces life fully, with all its ups and downs. It does not seek escape through distractions or illusions, but faces reality with courage. It does not run from suffering, but transforms it into something meaningful. It does not follow the crowd, but creates its own path. It does not look for approval, but stands firm in its own truth. This kind of mind is rare because it requires effort, discipline, and deep self-reflection. But those who cultivate it experience a life that is richer, deeper, and more fulfilling. They do not merely exist, they truly live.